These conservationists want to save the moorland near Gifhorn in northern Germany. Their most important work right now is uprooting young trees from areas that are too dry. Andre Data of the Nature and Biodiversity Conservation Union, NABU, has been working here for many years and leads the restoration project.
We're removing trees to keep the moorland open. Because it's so dry, the trees will otherwise keep growing and create a forest. Removing trees also reduces evaporation because water isn't being drawn out of the ground.
Uprooting the trees also helps protect the climate. The moorland stores considerably more carbon than forests. Too many trees would dry out the moor and slowly destroy it.
Moorlands are important for biodiversity. There are many rare plants and animals that only thrive on the moors and can't be found elsewhere in the landscape. To protect them, the moors must be maintained. And it's important for the climate because moors store carbon dioxide, which removes it from the atmosphere.
98% of the moorlands in Germany have already been destroyed through peat harvesting, logging, and agriculture. Eva Luthard teaches at the University of Sustainable Development in Eberswalde near Berlin. She's very familiar with the global threat to moorlands.
On the other continents of the world, moorlands are also drying out and being destroyed, but not at the level it's happening in Europe. In Africa, for example, about 20% of moorland in Kenya and Nigeria has been put to agricultural use, making it a source of greenhouse gases. In Indonesia and Southeast Asia, there's a rapid deterioration as moors are being converted into palm oil plantations.
Peat has been harvested here for 200 years. Today it's mainly used as potting soil. That's caused the peat on the moors to decline from a depth of 6 meters to just half a meter. Andre Data and Doris Plenter of NABU are hoping to restore moorlands currently being used for industrial purposes.
Moorlands need peat moss in order for the peat to develop. Peat moss is the most important plant when it comes to replenishing the moorlands. As peat is removed, barren areas are being created that could be replanted. So we're trying to grow as much peat moss as possible so that we can plant it on those barren areas. That will help the moorlands to recover.
To grow peat moss on a large scale, water needs to be returned to the moorland first.
To soak the area, we release the water. There's a board here, and when we remove it, the water flows through and fills the area.
As the moorland revives, it slowly recovers its former biodiversity. Many insect species can only survive on moorland. Peat moss also begins to grow again.
It's great that we were able to take land where all the peat was removed and restore it to a flourishing moorland. When you look down, you can see that the peat moss is growing again. It shows all our work was worth it.
The peat soil here will accumulate at the rate of about 1 millimeter per year, so it's a job that requires a lot of patience. It'll take about 6,000 years for the moorland near Gifhorn to fully recover.